All right, so look, listen up, fellas. We got to start taking accountability if you're not already. Taking accountability is one of the most important things you can do in your development as a man. One of the most important things you can learn. A lot of times it isn't taught. A lot of times we don't see the point, the use in taking accountability for our actions. But that can hold you back and set you back in so many different areas of your life that you just don't even understand. You gotta be able to look in the mirror and face all of your shit, face all of your demons, and take them head on and correct them and move forward and grow. This applies to men and women, but I'm solely speaking to the men right now, especially the young men. Taking accountability is gonna jumpstart the progress. It's gonna get the ball rolling, the snowball effect. If you can say, the reason I'm in this situation that I'm in right now is because of me, and because of me, I'm gonna get out of it. That's the start. You can't blame people for your situation, for the shit that you in, for the state that you in, for not having enough money, for not looking how you wanna look, for not being where you wanna be in life. You have to stop blaming other people. You gotta be able to take control of your own life. Once you realize no one is coming to save you, once you realize it's all on you to change your life, to change where you at, that's when it begins. That's when the change happens. So stop blaming others for where you at. I'm not speaking to children right now. I'm speaking to young men on up. One area of your life where you have to take accountability is relationships with others. If you, for some reason, somehow, some way, can't seem to maintain a relationship with others, whether it be platonic relationships, friendships, romantic relationships, relationships with family, parents, cousins, whatever the case may be, if you can't seem to maintain relationships with people, you need to look in the mirror, because the common denominator in all those relationships that keep failing would be you. What could you do differently to be a better friend, to be a better partner, to be a better son, brother, cousin? How can you be better in those areas? You got to sit and look in the mirror and reflect and figure out what you can do to be better in these relationships. And that'll be a start to having better relationships going forward. But if you continuously have bad and failed relationships in every aspect, in every arena, from friendships to family to romantic, you have to look in the mirror and reflect. Do some soul searching. But you got to take accountability. It's not everyone else's fault, and you play no role in the situations. It's just everybody else is messed up and you good. That's not realistic. So figure out your own shit, figure out how you can be better, figure out where you made mistakes and where you went wrong, and correct those mistakes in the future, moving forward. Don't make the same mistakes over and over. So that's one way to develop better relationships and keep healthy relationships all across the board, is by taking accountability. Finances. If you broke, why is that? Take some accountability for the financial decisions that you've made thus far. Are you doing everything you possibly can do to get yourself out of your financial situation? Are you making bad choices with your money? Spending it on liquor and weed when you know you ain't got it to spend for real. Spending it on junk food when you know you shouldn't be eating that, and you know it's a waste of your money. It ain't bettering you. It ain't bettering your health. It ain't bettering your wealth. Are you gambling your money away trying to make more money? There's nothing wrong with investing. That's a gamble. That's a risk. But are you gambling your money on FanDuel every day, trying to win $1 million off 25 cents, knowing you ain't got it to lose? You got to make better financial decisions, and you got to take accountability for those bad decisions that you make, and that's nobody else's fault but yours. Are you working one job and getting off that work and coming home and complaining that you ain't got enough money, but you staying at home for 9, 10, 12 hours after you done got off work, and you got all this free time, and you ain't out making more money, but you just complaining about the one job that ain't paying you enough? You got to take accountability. You got to look in the mirror and ask yourself, am I doing everything I possibly can to get myself out this situation? You not staying where you want to stay. Your place don't look how you want it to look. You ain't driving the car that you want to drive. You can't rock the clothes you want to rock. I'm all for all that, I'll tell you in a minute, take care of your money, but if you're not where you want to be and you can't even afford to get these things in the first place, you got to ask yourself, what am I doing? Where am I going wrong? Because there's people out here getting it for real. So you got to take accountability for where you are financially. And if you want to proceed and progress, accountability is where it starts. Look in the mirror and say, what can I be doing more? How can I be doing better? So we got accountability in relationships. We got accountability in finance. Another area where I hear people near me, close to me, speak on, but I don't hear the accountability. Oh man, I gotta get in the gym, man. You looking good, man. I see how far you done came. I see how I gotta get in there. You know, I just don't be having no time. It's just tough, man. It's hard to lose weight. It's easy to gain weight. It's hard to lose. All these excuses out here, but I don't see any action being taken. Whether you a small guy with a fast metabolism or a big guy with a slower metabolism, if you ain't working out to change your physique, to change your appearance, all you doing is making excuses. There's no accountability there. Now, if you're doing everything you possibly can and you're not getting any results, that's a different story. But typically, that is never the case. Because everyone I know that put the work in consistently, they get results. Whether you a small guy that's been struggling to gain or a big guy that's been struggling to lose. Every person I know that put that work in consistently over time, they get results. So if you're not doing that, but you're making excuses, you got to take accountability. It ain't going to happen on its own. So you got to look yourself in the mirror and say, am I really serious about this? Am I about to dedicate my life to this, to change it how I want to look, to looking how I want to look? Am I about to dedicate my life to this or not? And if you not, say that. But don't make excuses. Don't make it seem like, oh, it's so tough that it can't happen for me. It's happening for everybody else, but it can't happen for me. Don't make it seem like that. Own it. Take accountability. Hey, yo, I'm too lazy. I'm not getting in there. I'm too lazy. And everybody will respect you more for the honesty versus the BS and the excuses. Nobody want to hear excuses, man. It don't amount to nothing. So that's the third thing. One more thing that's been on my mind and on my heart to speak on to the fellas when it comes to dating and just interacting with the opposite sex. I'm very tired of hearing guys, whether guys that I know or guys that I see on the internet, continuously complain about the opposite sex, right? Saying chicks need to change X, Y, and Z and do better and blah, 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 and change their perspective and go back to I'm tired of hearing that. It ain't gonna happen on either side. So you gotta take accountability, right? If you ain't having success, right? If the women are saying they want a guy that makes a certain amount of money and looks a certain kind of way and all these things, right? Yeah, in theory, it may sound delusional. It may sound crazy, right? But at the same exact time, a lot of the points that they make are valid. And if you a nigga that's lazy and don't want to achieve a certain level, right? You're just going to complain. You're going to say, oh, you need to lower your standards or you need to lower your expectations, right? The average person only making 30, 40,000 a year. Why you wanted somebody that's making more than that? So you got to ask yourself, are you cool with being the average person for the rest of your life? Or do you want more? Do you want to strive for more? Are you going to be more? Because me personally, if I know the average person is making 30, 40,000 a year, that's what they saying all across the blogs and all online. I don't want to be in that category. I want to be I want to separate myself from the competition in every way possible, right? So if most niggas I see is fat and out of shape, I want to get in shape and look good. So that's going to separate me from the competition. So I'm going to be getting more chicks than you. If most niggas I know is making $40,000, $50,000, $60,000, I want to make $150,000, $200,000. I want to completely separate myself from the competition, right? So y'all can have that argument. Y'all can keep it because they not trying to hear it. Take some accountability, right? If that's what they saying they want, become that. And you don't even have to settle and wife these chicks. But you sitting here telling me you struggling to get dates and get chicks because they want dudes that's X, Y, and Z. Well, become that, and then you'll get the dates, and then you get to pick. But right now, you giving all the power and all the leverage to the women because they can say, I don't want to deal with that. They got way more power than you do when they are at their prime, attraction-wise, right? So you're gonna sit here and get mad at all the girls that look good because none of them want to deal with you. You mad that all the fine chicks, all the cold chicks, all the chicks that's lit, they don't want to mess with you because you an average dude. Well, stop being average then, right? Hustle, get you some more money, right? And then once you put yourself in a position where you can pick, then you ain't got to deal with none of that. You ain't got to hear none of that because you in control. You picking, right? So take accountability in every aspect. Let's stop blaming women for our lack, right? Let's stop blaming them and saying, oh, they asking for too much, they want too much because you too lazy to become more. If all the chicks saying they want a dude that's making a certain amount of money, that should just motivate you to go and get more. Why you want to be average or below average anyway? Right? At least strive for that. At least work towards that. And then you'll have a little more leverage and a little more control. So this whole idea was just to tell fellas, including myself, to take a look in the mirror. We can't continue to blame others for our situations, no matter what situation it is. Start looking in the mirror, start figuring it out, start moving forward. That's all I gotta say, man.